Once, there were 25 tin soldiers, all identical, all proud, and all made from the very same spoon. But one soldier was different, because there had not been enough tin to finish him completely, and so he stood on only one leg. Yet, despite this, he stood straighter than all the others. And perhaps it was this lonely little soldier who possessed the bravest heart of them all. The soldiers were given to a little boy as a birthday gift. The moment the box was opened, the room filled with wonder. There were painted castles, tiny mirrors, toy animals, and near the window stood a delicate paper ballerina. She wore a beautiful white dress and balanced gracefully on one leg. The tin soldier immediately believed she was just like him, strong, silent, alone. From that moment on, he could not take his eyes off her, but hidden nearby, inside a dark little box. Something else was watching too, a jack-in-the-box goblin, strange, jealous, and cruel. Late that night, when the house had fallen silent, the goblin suddenly sprang from his box. His eyes gleamed in the darkness. "Do not look at the ballerina," he whispered angrily. But the tin soldier said nothing. He continued staring quietly toward the dancer by the window. The goblin's smile twisted coldly. "Then you will suffer for it." The next morning, the little boy placed the tin soldier on the windowsill. Outside, rain clouds gathered over the city. A powerful gust of wind suddenly burst through the room, and the tin soldier fell, down from the window, down into the cold street below. Heavy rain flooded the streets. Water rushed through the gutters like wild rivers. Two boys discovered the fallen soldier. Laughing excitedly, they placed him inside a tiny paper boat. Then they sent him sailing through the rushing water. The boat sped forward violently, through dark tunnels, past dripping stone walls, beneath the roaring storm above. Yet the tin soldier never moved, never cried out. He remained perfectly upright, proud and fearless, even as danger surrounded him. Deep beneath the city, inside the dark sewer tunnels, a giant rat appeared from the shadows. Its sharp teeth glimmered in the darkness. "Have you paid the toll?" the rat screeched, but the soldier remained silent. The paper boat spun wildly through the rushing water, closer and closer toward a terrible waterfall ahead. The roaring grew louder, the current became unstoppable, and suddenly, the paper boat tipped forward into darkness. The world vanished beneath icy water. Everything became silent, dark, endless. Then suddenly, a giant fish swallowed the tin soldier whole. For a long time, there was only darkness inside the creature. No light, no sound, no sense of time. Until one morning, the fish was caught by fishermen, taken to a market, and eventually brought into a kitchen. A cook sliced the fish open with a knife. And to everyone's astonishment, out fell the tiny tin soldier. After all his terrible journey, he had somehow returned to the very same house. The soldier looked around in disbelief. Everything was exactly as before. The toys, the castle, the little room, and there, near the window, stood the ballerina once again. Beautiful, silent, graceful. For a single moment, it seemed as though the terrible journey had never happened. The soldier gazed at her quietly, and though neither of them spoke, something warm passed between them, something gentle, something neither storm nor darkness had been able to destroy. Then suddenly, without warning, a child picked up the tin soldier and threw him directly into the fire. Bright flames surrounded him instantly. The heat became unbearable, yet even inside the flames, the soldier remained standing proudly on one leg, watching the ballerina. Then, a sudden gust of wind swept through the room. The ballerina lifted into the air and drifted gently into the fire beside him. For one brief shining moment, they stood together, surrounded by flame and light. And then, they vanished. The next morning, after the fire had gone cold, the maid cleaned the ashes from the fireplace. There, among the blackened remains, she discovered a tiny heart made of tin, and beside it, a small burned jewel from the ballerina's dress. Some stories end happily, others end sadly, but perhaps the most beautiful stories are the ones that remain warm in our hearts long after they are gone.